Now, back in September, I made a video on the changes to the smoke alarm and CO alarm regulations that were coming into England on the 1st of October. And after reading the comments, there seemed to have been a bit of confusion about these new regulations and what we should and what we shouldn't be doing. So hopefully in this video, I'm going to get rid of those confusions. I'm going to try and answer some of the questions what I've been asked in the comments section. But if you haven't seen this video, why not? And if you haven't, I will leave a link in the description below so you can watch that video after you watch this one. Anyway, let's get on with it and try and get rid of these confusions on the CO and smoke alarm regulations 2022 for England. Now, one of the most common questions I've been asked in the comment section, which Alex Miller has said, is when you say cookers, is a hob included in that? Well, according to the regulations, a cooker is a gas appliance which is used for cooking and preparing food. So yes, a hob comes into that scenario. So if you have a hob or a cooker installed in a kitchen, you do not need to install a CO alarm in that kitchen. But you will need to put a CO alarm in the room where you spend most of your time. So the living room, if you do have a cooker or a hob installed. Bed sits are a bit different as well. So if you've got a bed sit and you've got a cooker or remember this is gas, not electric, because that was another one of the comments. If I've got an electric oven and hob, do I need to put a CO alarm in? No, you don't. But if it's a gas one and you're in a bed sit, then what they say is install the CO alarm in the area where the bed is to protect you from CO poisoning. It's basically, when you think about it, it's using your head and thinking about things logically and using the CO alarm for you to be safe. So if you do have a cooker or a hob in a kitchen, there's nothing to stop you installing the CO alarm in a living room or dining room or the room off the kitchen. Now the reason why cookers are exempt, which I said in the video, is because some cookers, not all cookers, but some cookers can make 90 parts per million of CO in the first 20 minutes. Then it has to reduce down to lower than 30 parts per million within 10 minutes and below 10 parts per million within the 20 minutes. But if you go over the 90 at any time, then the test needs to be stopped and the cooker checked out, why it's producing the CO. So hopefully that's cleared it up. Cookers and hobs are included in the exempt bit for not needing a CO alarm if it's in a kitchen, but there is nothing stopping you putting a CO alarm in a dining room or a living room or even a bedroom if the bedroom is above the kitchen. Hopefully that's cleared it. Now, K.R. Lionheart's question was quite common as well. So if I've got a boiler in a cupboard in the kitchen, do I put the CO alarm in the cupboard with the boiler? Well, K.R. Lionheart goes on to say they've got electric oven and hob. Anyway, let's just forget that bit. But there was other people did say they have cookers in the kitchen with a boiler in a cupboard. Do you put the CO alarm in the cupboard? No, you don't. Because if you've got the CO alarm in the cupboard, you might not hear it going off. So no, you do not put the CO alarm in the cupboard with the boiler. You put it outside the cupboard. If the boiler is installed in the kitchen and in the kitchen you've got a cooker or a hob, then stick it in the dining room or living room or the hallway out of the kitchen. Now, technically there isn't anything to say you cannot install the CO alarm in the cupboard with the boiler, but it does say in the regulations and the standards that you might not hear this alarm going off. So again, it just needs a little bit of thought and reading the manufacturer's instructions for the CO alarms, because we've got CO alarms here and the manufacturer's instructions says do not install this alarm in the cupboard if a boiler is installed in the cupboard. It says install the alarm outside the cupboard between 1 and 3 meters away from the appliance. So hopefully that's cleared that up. If your boiler is in a cupboard, don't put the alarm in the cupboard, put it outside the cupboard. And if the cupboard is in the kitchen with a gas cooker, put the CO alarm in the hallway, the dining room or the living room. It's all about being safe and all about not getting false readings from the CO alarm. Hopefully that's cleared that one up. Now Paul Banbury pretty much asked the same question about the boiler being in an airing cupboard. Do we put the CO alarm on the landing? Yes, you put it in the landing, not in the cupboard with the boiler. But he then goes on to say about the CO alarm being in a loft if the boiler's in the loft. Well, again, if the boiler is in a loft, is that an area where you spend most of your time? No, the loft will also or should be vented. So if there was any CO, it should go out in the loft. But you do need to know whether there's any CO there. So you could put the CO alarm in the landing, on the landing, or in a bedroom below where the boiler is, and you could put one in the loft. Again, the regulations say it so you can hear the alarm going off. So one, if the boiler is in the loft, and you might not hear it if your CO alarm is in there. So put it in the landing or in a bedroom. Remember, it says the regulations if the gas appliance is a fixed gas appliance in a area where you're spending most of your time. So living room, bedroom, if you've got a boiler in a living room or a bedroom or a dining room or a kitchen where there's no other gas appliances in there, then you're going to be putting the CO alarm in those rooms because you're spending most of the time there. So hopefully that's cleared it up. If your boiler is in the loft, put the CO alarm in the landing or a bedroom below, or both. And yes, you can put a CO alarm in the loft with the boiler, but don't just rely on that one. Have one in the hallway or the bedrooms. Again, it's just thinking about it and trying to keep safe. You don't just have to have one alarm, you can have multiple alarms if you want. But just make sure you follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing these alarms. I see too many of these alarms on coffee tables, mantelpieces across fires. No, just think about where you are putting these CO alarms. So hopefully now that's cleared up a few of the things and covered a few of the comments that have been put on the video itself. Just remember, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales now have their own versions of this regulation. They're all different, so depending on where you live in the UK and Great Britain will depend on which regulations you follow. Now Darren Parker's comment, he basically says gas engineers are telling him, I don't know whether he is a gas engineer or he's not, that it's not their responsibility to install CO alarms. And technically, it's not a gas engineer's responsibility in a rented accommodation to install a CO alarm. That is the duty of the landlord. It's a landlord's responsibility to make sure these alarms are installed and make sure they're maintained and make sure if they break, they are replaced or repaired. It's the landlord's duty solely. Now, if a gas engineer goes to do a landlord's report and finds out that there is no CO alarm, this is not, and I repeat, not a failure on the landlord's report. And GasSafe have actually put it in their magazine to try and clear this up, that it's not the gas engineer's responsibility in a tenanted property to install, check and maintain the alarms. Now yes, if they're installed in there and you're doing the landlord's report, why not check it? But a tenant can quite easily check it, or a letting agent doing an inspection can check it, or even the landlord can check it. So it doesn't have to be a gas engineer to check whether the CO alarm is 1 installed or 2 working. Now then, if a gas engineer now installs a new boiler anywhere, so whether it's rented or whether it's owned, they have the responsibility to make the customer aware that they now need a CO alarm, and the CO alarm must be installed. But this is a building regulations, not a gas regulation. It is not in regulation 26.9 of the duties we need to carry out. It doesn't say that we need to check CO alarms. And it doesn't say in the gas regulations anywhere that we need to put CO alarms in. It comes under document J of the building regulations. But it looks like it will be thrown on the gas engineer to check it while they're doing a landlord's report. And also probably the landlord or the letting agent will expect gas engineers to carry CO alarms and install them. Again, would I be bothered about doing that? No, because I'm going to be charging for it. I'm making money out of it. So I would be quite happy to install CO alarms and check them when I'm doing landlord reports. But just remember, it's not part of your landlord's gas safety check. It's not a gas regulation, it's a building regulation. Hopefully that's been helpful for you and you now understand what needs to be done. Catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.